men do have a bit of an uphill battle because not only do they have possibly these distortions around masculinity, they also
Mm.
have this training to fear or disempower the feminine, as in the worst thing a man can do is be feminine. That's what societies have trained. That's why men aren't comfortable, just sitting with the emotion and letting things go, is because they've been told that that is not masculine and therefore is the wrong thing to do.
I have not even ever thought of that. That is so profound. And what comes up for me with that is actually two things. It's being so comfortable in yourself that then you would attract the partner who is comfortable with the fact that the man is in divine balance. Um, because if that's the energy you're getting back from a partner and like ridicule, like what I'm emotions, I'm just going to try to put words to them that you just described because I know this happens frequently. I'm feeling like the man would feel ridiculed, belittled, attacked. So I would say to that, then that is a sign you're not in the correct relationship and that the partner is out of balance. And if the partner is not willing to come into balance with her or himself, as you are doing, then that's a huge sign. And this is the sign of 2025. Everything not in alignment is falling away. Um,
I'm glad you brought that
yeah.
up. You said there's two things, and I want to make sure we do the second one. I just wanted to add to that I was listening to a podcast recently with a relationship specialist, a psychologist, and a matchmaker, and a relationship coach. And they were talking about modern dating, and the host asked the question, why women say that they want emotionally available, emotionally intelligent, emotionally aware men, but
Mm-hmm.
that phenomenon keeps happening of when men do open up, when they are emotionally vulnerable with a woman, what sometimes, I don't know how frequently because I personally haven't had the experience, but from what I have heard happens quite often, women get the ick or they don't
Mm.
respond in a compassionate way. And this actually just came up last night with someone, a male friend that I've been talking to, where he was having a bit of a hard time. And I said, I hope that you do then. We were supposed to have a conversation that night, a phone call. And I was like, if you're not up for it, that's totally fine. Do whatever you need to do, including asking for help if that's what you need. And he said, I haven't had good experiences of asking for help in the past. Like, I haven't had women or people in general that are comfortable with like me crying, me talking about my feelings. And that's
So they are with, and no judgment, because I was there for many years, probably like the majority of, my first marriage that I exited. But what that is there with someone with a divine feminine imbalance. So when the divine feminine is out of balance, they want to be rescued. They want to have their savior. They want to, be not in their own power so much so that that's when it's reflected back that someone else needs something. It's like, how can someone else need something? You're supposed to be providing for me and you're supposed to rescue me. Completely out of touch with the fact that, and I say this from experience, so no, absolutely no judgment here.
same.
Completely out of touch with the fact that you have everything you need inside of you to step up for yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, people, women or men or whoever it is that get uncomfortable or don't react helpfully when men or anyone else show. Like, we said the same thing for men. Yeah, they can't just hold that space because they're uncomfortable with their own femininity and the emotions that naturally come up in them. But it's, if we're talking about women specifically, and we've been trained to need rescuing and to need protection and to outsource our strength to men or to a partner, or to an institution, to your family, whomever, that when someone, in this case a man, shows emotional vulnerability, if they're not in balance, they go, "Oh my god, I'm not safe," because the thing
Mm.
that's supposed to keep me safe is not impenetrable, or they're human too.
Yes. They're healing too. We have to invite the men in to heal also. That is the only way this is going to work here. Like, we are in the time of transition of all transitions here on Earth. People call it a birthing process. I mean, it's everything. It's like we need both. We need the men to want to do this. And the second part of what I was going to circle back to is the stark, like, difference in the spiritual community of men versus women. Like, the women are, you know, and I know there's distortions everywhere. I mean, including in the spiritual community, but I'm just saying in general, it's perceived like the women, that's their thing. Like, okay, they can go heal themselves. They're the intuitive. They're, all of that. And the men start feeling like maybe that's not for me, and then they don't want to go there, and for all the epigenetic reasons we discussed, hesitant when they are here with amazing codes waiting to be unlocked. They are the ones here with a lot of the oracle wisdom, how to do things in a new way. Um, they have access to all of that, but not until they've cleared the channel, like purified the distractions, everything that we kind of talked about. They've got to work through that and truly come into balance. And then they have like these amazing things that we're just waiting on. Like, it's for them too. That's what I'm saying. It's not just for the divine feminine.
Yes, we are all in this together when we're at the
Yes.
point where nobody can be left behind, and we are really focused, as we should be, on the minorities and the currently oppressed and the people that have historically been left behind. They We have to make sure that they are taken care of as well. What not everyone might be open to yet is that we also have to bring with us and take care of those who maybe have been the oppressors. And I I
Yes.
I've been in this state where I think I was, like, probably 18 maybe, when I realized the violent history against women. I wasn't quite aware until that point, and aware of the unfair expectations that have been placed on women as have been placed on men, just differently.
Mm-hmm.
And I got really angry. I spent many years, probably up until quite recently, to be honest, feeling so violated on behalf of myself and of all women, because it's also something I experienced in my life of, "Well, you're the woman, so you do this." And I was so mad, and I hated it so much, and I was very much not neutral, which isn't important because you have to allow yourself to have that emotional reaction. If you try to press it down, it's just going to come up in a different way. But I think that's where a lot of women currently are as individuals and as societies, which I understand on a really personal level. And
Yeah.
I
That's the pendulum effect. So it's like once you become awakened to something, you tend to swing back too far until you can kind of come into balance. And it's okay. We're just the energies right now are calling for us to do that much quicker than has ever been done. So um if you've swung too far, that's okay. Just recognize maybe you've swung too far, and what can you do to come back to center? Because everything we individually do matters very, very much so. Because, like I said, we are connected above and below, and every person's energy is going to collective unity once you've, brought the awareness to. Going back to the power frequency, when we're talking about the two ends of the spectrum, because you may be listening to this, or like I'm hoping men are, or we're listening to this with our partners. I'm hoping too, like I really, really am, because I think there's a lot of growth to be had on both sides of a lot of what you brought, Sarah, to the table of what the feminine aspect can do to support, and like what the male aspect can then do to come in and um dig in a little bit. right? For the growth and for to clear out the distortions. But going back to the 2 ends of the spectrum, if you find you're on I feel like you might identify with one or the other. And so say you're at the end of the I've really put my identity around the fact that I am have a powerful job and I'm in control of all these people and that's my identity and all of that. I've built up a lot of money maybe in some cases, right? But I never feel like it's enough and I am really not feeling safe and so that I'm seeking more, 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 more. And that's the analogy I used to, taking from the earth, like the earth's resources, right? It's not the same thing, but it's similar, like more, more, more at the expense of yourself, essentially. So using gratitude as an antidote, but it's going to be in two different ways for whatever end you fall on. And for the end of the, I need more, I don't feel safe enough, it's actually going to be what can you give? So actively come up with something you can give your time for something outside of yourself to help another. So money, time, your presence, whatever. So that would be like one step I would say for that end of the spectrum. Go ahead. We can pause there and go ahead with that.
No, I wanna hear both. Just yeah, just to clarify because this is really important because you're saying these are the actionable steps for both sides
Yes.
of the distorted masculine energy spectrum. So if you are on the side where you take more and more power, more and more resources, more and more money in order to feel safe, because that's what it is. It's like you don't feel safe as you are, you don't feel enough as you are. And that's like coming from so much love in someone who doesn't feel like enough very frequently.
Sure.
Not a
Oh
judgment.
my goodness.
Yeah. If if that is how you're expressing your need for safety and security by taking in some way, then the antidote to that, which now makes sense, is giving, is saying, "Okay, well, look at how much I have to give everybody else," whether that is only my time because maybe I don't take in a money capacity, but I have time to volunteer, I have more maybe even if you're just giving compassion or giving space to other people saying, "Okay, I'm gonna make sure everybody in this meeting now gets to talk instead. I'm gonna give time to other people." Or I'm gonna donate my money or I'm gonna donate my resources, whatever it is. That is what we would ask the men on that side to do for your growth, which helps everybody, but it's really like, this is you as the individual, what you can do.
Yeah. It's just like one thing among, looking into all the ways maybe you're being distracted and what you're tying your identity to. That would be like the main steps I would say for that end of the spectrum. And all that is just choosing a new energy that brings you more back to yourself. That's all it is. It's just like a little workaround and it's going to over time get you in touch with those emotions that you kind of have stepped out of yourself and blocked, or you've built a shell around yourself so nothing can enter. So by doing one and this could also include finding silent gratitude every night or every morning too for something, but really feeling it, like trying to really feel it when you're saying, even if it's just like my health, my kids, it can start to be mundane, but as you're laying there, I would say if on that end of the spectrum, really trying to feel that, like, what does that feel like to you? And just giving yourself permission to feel what you want, for, even if it's a little bit of time. But just cracking the shell, right? Like a lot of them maybe just have themselves in a shell. So,
Cracking the shell by asking those questions, sitting in gratitude, just coming from curiosity. And
and giving something.
yeah, I wanna highlight the hows that we're talking about because we've also had conversations of a lot of men kind of do see it. They see where they want to go and where would be more beneficial for everybody, but they feel really stuck in where they are and don't know how to get there. So now the men who maybe exist at the other end of the spectrum.
So now we're going to go to the more, if I sacrifice myself, that's my worth, right? So if I sacrifice it all That's how I get my, like, I don't matter. It's an energy of I don't matter. So ironically, at the heart of that is a fear of your own power. So that's why it's on the power frequency line that we've been talking about, right? It's because if I were to really matter, what would that look like? I mean, it may be insane, right? Like, but like there's some sort of fear there. So it is tied to, so I would say maybe explore that too. But conversely, if you're at that other end of like my needs don't matter, it is how can I receive? How can I receive? How can I do something nourishing for myself? What do I love? What feels good to me? And like doing that in little increments until you really believe it, until you really embody it, until you know that when you put yourself first, it's not putting everyone else at risk. Others will not have harm done to them. Um, and it's going to be super hard at first. In my own experience with men in my life, when they first want to do something, like say they want to go golfing, but they're afraid to ever ask for that because they don't feel that they matter. And then the way they're gonna, so I'm just saying this for the women out there, the way they, or the other male partner, again, this is just, I'm just using generics, but they may say like, I'm going golfing today, you know, and that sounds like, because they're not used to asking for what they want, and they're not used to receiving what what matters to them. So they may be coming out a little harsh at first, and that's okay. It will get better as they feel more comfortable with embodying their own power from within.
When you're talking about that end of the spectrum, that does sound very familiar to how to the journey that a lot of women also have to take, but usually differently. Because men, yeah, it's both of a fear of power, but men, it tends to be more tied to their job and how they provide for their financially for their family. And then women, it tends to be how they nurture and care for their family, and like that's what gives you worth, not what you want to do, not what empowers you. And yeah, I've done that as well where like just stating what you want, you tend to go overboard a bit of
Yes.
it comes out.
When it's new.
Yeah, because you're learning, and it comes out as a demand, like, "No, I'm not gonna do that," or
Yeah.
like, it's a bit frantic because you're just trying to get it out.
Yep. It's new. And it's like, and then it becomes easier and easier. But so in my experience, a lot of at the spectrum of like these men who are playing out the martyr and that kind of thing, they're so beautifully empathic. And it's also about then getting in touch with that side of them and just owning that that's how they are, and that's what we need here right now, right? Like like it's getting in touch with that side. But yeah, that's a correlation also I found.
Yeah, and that side is beautiful and valuable, but they've probably been told that that side is wrong, doesn't matter, is weak,
Yes.
but that's truly what we need more of.
Mhm.
Whatever.
Balance.
Yeah, balance of who you naturally are, not pushing parts of you away because someone has told you that it's that part of you specifically is not worthy. That does not fit what we're looking for. And
We're shattering the boxes. That's exactly what's happening right now.
yeah,
Yes.
it's just potentially it's hard for everybody, but potentially a bit harder for the men because they're more entrenched in the masculine, which likes boxes. It often thrives
Yes.
in boxes.
That's exactly it, which is how that's beautiful because now we've circled back to why they feel so unstable right now. Because the boxes are all shattering, including the institutions, all of those. Yes.
Yeah, we're asking them to trust that it's going to be okay, that we can let go of
Yes.
the institutions, the boxes, and it'll be okay.
That is exactly what we're asking, is that you trust and surrender to your own inner knowings, and also maybe the intuitive feminine energies in your life, their inner knowings, and maybe just start to open up the dialogue that way. Just be like, "Hey, what do you know I'm interested in learning?" And then that will in turn open their intuitive knowing because they have that also, right? I mean, we carry both, but yes.
Yes. As you were saying that, what came up is because you said they have to trust their own intuitive knowings. That's a hard thing to do for anybody if you've been removed from it for quite a long time. And when I'm saying a long time, it's not just your life, it's your ancestors as well for men. So you said that maybe a step in that is leaning on the intuitive knowings of the other feminine energies of your in your life. Like if that is your partner, if that's your mom, your sister, friends, female friends. With that, what came up is that that is a version of asking for help. And it's like you have to trust them. Then the woman's role or the feminine energies role, whoever that exists in that they're asking, their role is to not let that get attached to their identity. Because if the man's like, "Hey, I'm trying to trust my intuition more, and like, is it okay if I learn from you? Is it okay if I enter this space?" Just as you said earlier, in the spiritual spaces, men sometimes don't feel welcome or don't feel invited because they're like, "No, that's the feminine space, and that's women's space, and I can't go there." It's also a call for the women to not attach their identity to going, "Well, this is my thing. You can't do that." If that's scarcity, like if you do it, then that makes it less valuable or important that I do it.
Yes. 100%. Yes.
Yeah, so if a man does that, if that comes up, it's important that we're aware enough to say, "This does not threaten me. This is good for everybody. This is good for all."
Anytime there's a trigger or we feel threatened, it's always an invitation to investigate that further because it only ever says something about ourselves. Yes.
Yeah. And we feel it's easier to investigate other people instead of investigate ourselves often.
That is absolutely, I mean, I spent so long in that space as well because what is that? That's just a distraction from doing the work for myself. That's a distraction of, embodying, uh, my full inner power and what I'm here to do and all of that, um, by being too busy in other people's stuff. So absolutely. It's just one more distraction. Yeah.
Let me fix you instead of work on myself. And I also wanted to go back to what you said for both men to do on the end of the spectrums, because chances are, well, like, I think, this will be what happens, when the men do start doing that, the things they've created in their life that don't align with that might have to fall away, or you will have to tackle you'll have to engage with whatever the backlash is. So, like, if you're a man who is afraid of their power and has given it away, and you do decide, I do wanna go golfing." Such a very stereotypical example. But
Right.
yeah, if you're like, I do wanna go golfing," and then you decide to bring that up in your partnership, it is completely possible that you chose a partner that reinforces that belief of, "I'm not enough," of, "I give my power away," and that your partner might go like, "No, you can't do that," and that you'll have to work in that system that was created around you based on your old beliefs and your old habits.
It's so true. It's either an invitation for the other person to grow with you or a universal sign that, something isn't going to mesh, going forward. Yeah, and that will be a process. And so a lot of my experience that I've been talking about is the growth that I've seen the men around me make once they've exited a particular difficult like marriage or partnership or relationship. And then that's the initiation aspect of it because you're stripped bare and now you've got to find yourself again and start from there. And there's a lot of it's amazing. Like I always see like it as a new version of light rising, but it's not easy.
It's not none of no matter who you are, a lot of the work isn't easy, but we both feel really compassionately towards men about the work that they have to do and that we need them to do, and
Yes.
we don't want them to be left behind. We don't want us to be separate.
We need to unify. We are going to unity, and we can't go to unity until we're all balanced, right? And talking of distractions is something else that came to mind too. There's distractions of substances also, right? There's this. So these are all just questions to think about. Like, am I distracting from my authentic self by lots of, alcohol or other substances stuff? Oh my goodness, edit this out.
Oh,
Substances,
never.
um, that are like, not fun for occasionally, but am I relying on them because I really don't want to look inside? Am I relying on them because I'm feeling, it's too much, and so I'm just going to live my daily existence as I did yesterday. So it's really stepping out of that pattern as well.
Yeah, it's choosing to not numb anymore, whether that's with substances, sex, your job, video games, sports, like you said, really examining your distractions. And it's not that I wanna scare the men, it's that I wanna be honest with them that when you stop doing that and you do open up your emotional side, it fucking hurts.
Yeah.
It's a lot. Like, I've witnessed men in my own life who are on this journey, have taken that really brave step to say, "I am gonna embrace all these parts of myself. I am gonna be in tune with my emotions, and I'm not going to distract." And when we talk about it, they're like, "This fucking sucks." I don't wanna go back because I know that that's not good for me, but in so many ways, it was so much easier.
And then it does get infinitely better.
Yeah.
It gets like blindingly better. We can't even imagine how great it gets, but that period of transition is very difficult. Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those things, it's gonna get worse before it gets better because you've been ignoring all of this stuff. So to sort out you are opening that box and you have to sort that out. But once you have it sorted even a little bit, yeah, your life is gonna take off. Your feelings of self-worth and empowerment are gonna catapult.
How good can it get? I literally wrote something down that I'm just going to look for it because it ties into everything we're talking about. It's just naturally evolved to this place. But I put sometimes we're afraid of how good it can actually get here because we're so used to the lower vibrations and the densities as normal. So when we start to feel magical and radiate love, it feels very uncomfortable at first, only because it's new. But like we can't even, I haven't even, we can't even imagine the magic that is coming when we've all aligned.
And because we can't imagine it, it's scary to us. It's an
Hmm.
unknown. I still feel that way in my own life about myself of like, if I did get my shit together in this regard,
Same.
yeah, like it's still scary. So the men are not okay right now. And we want to have as much compassion for that as possible.